And now, let's talk about the essential knowledge. And let's know who is Hellen Keller. She was the most amazing and famous disabled person in the world. She was an American educator who overcame the adversity of being blind and deaf to become one of the 20th century's leading humanitarians as well as co-founder of the ACLU or the American Civil Liberties Union. So Hellen Keller says, hearing impairment is not only the handicap of being able to hear, it also encompasses emotional problems, problems in socialization, and learning disabilities. This means to say that if you are blind and if you are deaf, you're not only dealing with the problem of vision, the problem of hearing, but you're also dealing with the holistically effect to your life. That you are dealing the problems of emotional states, your socialization, your physical, your spiritual, and your cognitive learning. So that's why it is very hard for Helen to survive in life. But let's dig deeper about Helen. So, about Helen, her name is Helen Adams Keller, born on June 27, 1881, in Tuscumbia, Alabama. She was the daughter of Captain Arthur Henley Keller and mother of Kate Adams Keller, and was born with full sight and hearing. Oh, so Helen Keller experienced to see the world and hear anything at first, but a change for the worse. On February 1882, when Helen was 19 months old, she fell ill. Doctors called it brain fever, otherwise known today as scarlet fever or meningitis. For many days, she was expected to die. When the fever went away, her family thought she was in the clear. But a change for the worse continued. Her mother noticed that Helen was not responding to the dinner bell when rang. Also, she was responding to her mother's hands passing in front of her eyes. So that's why Helen's mother concluded that Helen's illness left her blind and deaf. And that was the worst scenario the family of Helen's experienced. But despite of the tragedy Helen faced, she never stopped learning. She learned the spelling of 30 words within the next few hours after the water. So Helen's first word know how to spell is water, and after a few hours she already know 30 new words. Wow, that was amazing for Helen. And she also continued to learn to understand what others were saying by touching their lips and throats. And besides of learning, she was also struggling because Helen could not speak due to her vocal cords not being trained prior to being taught how to speak. And Helen goes to college, and that was very amazing. Was the first person who was blind and deaf to ever enter an institution of higher learning, and she enrolled in the fall of 1900, and she was the first person was blind and deaf to earn a Bachelor of Arts degree. And wow, this was very amazing. Helen graduated cum laude from Radcliffe College on June 28, 1904. So, because of that achievement and because of the impairment Helen has, she was not able to express her feelings verbally. That's why she wrote books. And these are the famous books Helen wrote and inspired hundreds or millions of people in all over the world. So the first is 1903, Helen's first book, The Story of My Life. And then in 1913, Out of the Dark series of essays on socialism. And 1955, teacher book about Anne Sullivan. So Anne Sullivan was the best friend and teacher of Helen Keller. and Helen's contribution to society. So after graduating, Helen had fundraising tours for American Foundation for the Blind. After the World War II, Helen traveled the world fundraising for the American Foundation for the Overseas Blind and campaigned to help with the living and working conditions for people who were blind. So generally speaking, Helen never stops on sharing her story to everyone to believe in their dreams because she make her story becomes the motivation of the hundreds of children who were also blind and deaf. That's why Helen never stopped on spreading her amazing story to motivate and encourage students to do not stop in believing their dreams and achieving their dreams. That's why, because of that amazing works and good deeds of Helen, she was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 1964 by President Lyndon Johnson. And she was also elected to be the Women's Hall of Fame at 1965 at the New York World's Fair. So that's how amazing the life of Helen Keller. And I hope you learned something and became motivated to learn because that's what Helen Keller's wanted to tell us that even if you are blind, even if you are deaf, and even how you are struggling, don't stop learning because if we stop learning, it's just like we stop on breathing. And thank you.